Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another fine episode of T3Live, which will one day be the biggest live television show in the universe. Huh, wouldn't that be something? Anyway, how y'all doing today? So let me click this button here and get the slideshow out of the way so you can see my pretty face. All right. Oops, gotta turn the slideshow off. Well, let's see. Oh, one second. All right. So I'm hoping everybody can see me, uh, hear me. Could I get a check from my backstage crew? All right. Thank you, Mr. Day. I tell you what, I'm always talking about gratitude and Thanksgiving, and because it's such a cornerstone of my life. You know, when people talk about Thanksgiving, there's the negative connotation around the whole colonization, of this country and how the indigenous peoples basically saved the pilgrims, but only to have them turn around and eradicate them. Uh, just beyond me. Um, but to me, Thanksgiving, just being in that open state of being thankful for being alive, for the people in my life, like my buddy Dave, um, who could be doing anything else with his Monday at 3, but instead he's feeding me information, letting me know that everything's looking and sounding good. And, stuff like that, that people are willing to do that is worth more to me than the weight of gold. Well, maybe not that much because I could use a little bit of gold right now. uh, Hence my campaign, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But back to Thanksgiving and gratitude and just the thing that is most important to me about Thanksgiving, being thankful, gratitude, is that it's the most sincere form of prayer, right? Because you're not asking for anything. Most people, we're taught to pray these days, pray that, you know, I I pray that my businesses are successful. I pray for my sick relative. I pray for my friend who's going through some rough stuff. You're not asking for anything. Well, you are asking for something, but you're asking for something it's a purpose beyond yourself. And so that's why it is, especially lately, become a cornerstone in my life. I spent the last year and a half in this mindset of, it's everything but me. You know, it's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. It's because this didn't happen or that didn't. And you know what? To some of that extent, some of that stuff is true. But to rob myself of, my life energy worrying about that is, worth far more to me than the thing I'm pissed off about. So I've adopted this new way of life. And the irony is, it's one of the first things I teach my students. And it goes back to Stalking Wolf's saying, all that I am is now, right? All the future doesn't exist. A meteor could crash right now and wipe us all out. The past is in the past. Hopefully, we learned some lessons not to repeat. We learned some stuff, some good stuff to repeat. Um, but yeah, all that we are is right this second. So instead of waking up every morning, you know, being morose, worrying about things months off, I said, after a conversation with a friend one day, I said, you know what? All that I am is today. All that I'm going to do is focus on what I need to get done today. And then tomorrow, you do the same thing. And since I've switched mindsets, everything about me has changed. I'm much happier. I've got my Calcifer. For those of you who've seen Howl's Moving Castle, one of the greatest movies of all time. Calcifer is the fire demon that powers the moving castle. And for a while, I was Calcifer kind of sputtering out. And I feel like people have just stoked a whole bunch of wood on top of me. And, I'm ready to rock and roll, you know. The haze is clearing from my path and from my vision. And, once again, I'm just so thankful for the few people in my life, like my buddy Dave from Silva Tracking, and a few other folks that just have taken their precious life force when they could have been doing anything else, but instead they choose to help me. And you all know how big the idea of being a caretaker is to me, into my overall, sphere of existence. These are examples of true caretakers, you know, that are willing to sacrifice a little bit of something for them to give to somebody else to make that person's day brighter. They're willing to spend an extra hour in the woods walking around picking up trash, instead of getting home. Um, yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that. One thing, since the title of this episode is Wildfires, holy crap. I was trying to figure out a way last minute to, I'm still getting used to OBS. And, the one thing I don't like about it is I can't see anybody's comments. I can't see anybody's, who's online, who's not, which brings me to the first contest of the day. So the first person to leave a comment about what their favorite mammal is will get a gift from me. I will contact you separately or contact me through my website, and I have a special gift for you. So the first person to comment on what their favorite is gets a prize. And no, this isn't just some like super clever scheme to get rid of a bunch of stuff I don't want anymore. Maybe just a little, but no, you will get something awesome. I promise you. So yeah, so 3 nights ago, I'm laying in bed and I hear rumble, and I'm like, oh no, thunder. Now, thunder and lightning storms, even though lightning, people ask me all the time, what's the one thing you're afraid of in nature? The only thing I'm really afraid of in nature is lightning. I have been partially struck by lightning a few times, meaning I was close to an object that got struck. And um, all right, good one, Alkiers. We will get you your prize here. Um, but where was I? So, oh yeah. So anyway, One of the things I miss about the East Coast are the almost daily thunderstorms. Even though lightning scares the crap out of me, I still love it for its raw, just power. So the other night, I'm laying in bed, and keep in mind it hasn't rained in many months, and it is bone dry and hot, and I hear thunder, and I'm like, oh no, this is how it begins. So, I try to just put some good energy out there, kind of put a protective bubble around this area, because I have not only me and my household, but a bunch of people I know live right around. And I wake up the next morning to find out that lightning did indeed strike a tree about 7.1 miles from my house, and it was a 10-acre wildfire. So that was 3 nights ago. Last time I checked, we are at 1,400 plus acres. I'm not sure how contained it is. I haven't checked the app in a while. I know, talking to my firefighter friends, that they are dumping water because the Bull Run Reservoir is right there. They're dumping that orange stuff on it. They have loggers trying to, cut a path to, towards where the fire is moving to try to stop it that way. But one of the best gifts ever was this morning. I had to wake up and take my car into the shop to get some work done to it. And it rained. It was raining. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Because one of the things I absolutely love about the Pacific Northwest is when you get that first good rainfall, at the end of the summer, early fall. And I'm not talking about the one we got last night because it wasn't very much rain. I could still light this all up with a single flick of my lighter. But a good soaking rain, you can feel the energy of the forest just start to vibrate as everything just starts drinking in that water. And then everything gets green again, even though it's always green. So yeah, so that's one of my favorite times of the year. So yeah, a couple things I want to talk about. So let's start off talking about my campaign. Currently, as many of you know, I'm running a GoFundMe campaign. It's doing, fairly decently. It's been up for 2 weeks now. Um, and I, had some serious mixed feelings about ever doing any crowdfunding in the first place. But when the vision I have that was passed on to me by my father is so strong, and knowing that, if I do anything else and stray too far from that path, it kind of leads to pain. I know this will work, and it's being proven to me by those of you who have been very generous. Um, I'm not sure of the numbers, but I'm like 1/19 of the way there after a week and a half is pretty good. So one thing I ask is, take a look at it, look what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to accomplish everything from, my ultimate goal being free classes. That's it. I would love to one day have enough money to be able to drive around the country and run a series of classes that are completely free. People would apply who couldn't otherwise afford a quality outdoor program, and probably limit it to about 30 people. I would hire some instructors to help, and we would put on a week-long class. The only stipulation would be that you have to make it there. So, I try to do that in little ways with my teaching. I often open up a scholarship spot or two, or, I work on a sliding scale a lot of the time because, it's important to me that I get the information that's in my heart and in my brain out to you. But unfortunately, there are pesky things like bill collectors and, people that want money so you can live underneath something nice and dry and store all your stuff. So, having to live in that world. And, I've been, when I'm not writing or creating content or planning, the other day. I get a text message at 8 in the morning from my friend Brian, who owns Pioneer Plumbing in Sandy, Oregon. If you live in Oregon, best plumbing place ever. Anyway, he sent me a text message and said, "Can you be in Happy Valley in 30 minutes to dig a hole?" And I'm like, "Yep." And got out of bed. I was in my birthday suit. Within 5 minutes, I was clothed. Within 35 minutes, I was there, and I dug a 3 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot deep hole to expose the main water line so he could cut into. And I made a little bit of money for the day, which is precious to me right now, you know. And I was so thankful for that, that for that opportunity. So yeah, so as far as the campaign goes, I one thing I do ask is, donate if you can. Obviously, that is most appreciated, but spread it around to your nature-minded folk. I'm having some issues with social media that doesn't allow me to get as far reach as I should be able to. So, word of mouth is more important than anything. So, if you present it to your friends who care about nature, who are caretakers, who want to see a bright future for all living beings and the earth itself, just share it with them. That is all I ask. And a funny thing with this. So, I'm when I was choosing what crowdfunding campaign to go with, I was going through some of them, and I actually found a video, and it's actually a pretty famous video. I think it's a couple of years old now, where it is three or four mega church pastors on a private jet, and it's a Gulfstream G6, and they are asking their parishioners to donate $400 million so that they could get a Gulfstream G8 jet because the one they had was too small and they couldn't be bothered with going to regular airports because they'd be too busy casting out demons and healing people, and they wouldn't make their flights, and they got the jet. And then I look at some of the other stuff that's out there that people are trying to raise money for. And, a lot of it's like these people have raised millions of dollars for some plastic thing that's just going to end up in a landfill in a couple of years, And then there's somebody like me who's asking for a relatively small amount of money. And I am offering you true freedom. True freedom is the ability to walk into those woods with the clothes on your back, maybe a few simple tools, and live quite a nice life, if you put your dirt time in. I've actually been thinking about getting dirt time tattooed on my knuckles lately. But that is true freedom. In the Western world, we talk about freedom, freedom, yeah, yeah. None of us are free. We're all shackled to the gas station, the grocery store, the electric company. That's why I laughed during the pandemic when toilet paper was the apocalypse item of choice. that just cracked me the hell up. Out of all the things to be worried about, uh, you know, it just cracked me up. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, please, if you feel so inclined, share my campaign around. I'm really trying to do some good work here, people. And this is something I brought up multiple times, and not to like, woe is me, this broadcast, but as someone with a chronic medical condition, chronic Lyme's disease, um, for the last 2.5 years, and all the stress that's been generated over this mega transition in my life, the Lyme's, has got a foothold where I've been able to fight it for 36 years pretty much. The last 10 years is when it started to bother me. But it's gotten really bad in the last two. And more than anything, you know, I just need a day off. I never get more than a couple hours off here or there to go take some photos. I am always trying to figure out ways to get like I said, get what's in my brain out into the world. Speaking of that, I have put up some new classes on the website for here in the Sandy area. And I had dates written down here, and I want to find them for you. So, and these are physical classes. My webinars, those kind of run on rotation. Um, but oh yeah, so one thing I also want to mention on um, September 23rd and the 24th, a good chance that I'm going to be blessed to host a class on nature photography with my father. Things in the works. We may change the date, but I'm looking forward to that honor to teach with my dad again, more than anything. Uh, so I'm also on Friday, September 29th, it's a weekend-long class called The Art and Science of Wilderness Survival. So it'll be a weekend-long class where we will go through everything from modern gear, what to take with you when you go in the woods, all the way to how to make fire, how to find food, how to build a shelter, etc. And that'll be here in Sandy, Oregon. And then um, going to be running another one of those as well, um, in the Midwest, uh, at the end of October. So keep that in mind as well. And the easiest way to get there, once I'm done streaming, I will put links to my schedule page and all sorts of things like that. All right, so it's time for the next giveaway. So the first person to comment what their favorite type of tree is and why will receive a gift from me. So I'll give you a moment to write that down. So, yeah, I'm actually getting ready to wrap it up here in a minute because it's actually raining again, and all of this equipment I have laid out in front of me is what I make my livelihood with. And I should have brought the camera umbrella, but I forgot it. So yeah, hopefully somebody puts up that uh, you know, what their favorite tree is and why. In closing, I just want to say once again, thank you all so much. The people who have been sending me prayers that I feel, the people that I talk to on the phone, the people I text message with, I email with, um, that are helping me to be a better person, a better business human, educating me on the ways of business, which I am, you know, the woods is my business, so to speak. Thank you all, and even if you're watching this, and even if we've never met, just know that I care for you, and I'm thankful for you, and if we're going to create this army of caretakers that I envision that is going to stop the hatred, stop the violence, come together as one human family, and turn our technology towards healing the earth instead of destroying it for cheap plastic gadgets that end up in the landfill after a couple of years. I'm going to need your help. And yeah, so that's going to be part 4 of my free Way of the Caretaker class that I've been slowly filming over the last few months. And that's going to give you a taste for the longer term online classes I'm going to be running through the winter. So I'm going to be running 2 of them. They're going to be 4 months long, and I can promise you they're going to be epic. They're going to have a lot more production value than this. You're going to be working on skills, where it's going to be awesome. So I'm currently working on the descriptions for those. So, being that I was not able to see if anyone posted, I will be able to see afterwards. So, I will be sure to reach out and try to contact you, and get you your prize through the U.S. Postal Service. But as I always say, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Stay happy, stay healthy. Hug someone you love, hug a tree, hug a fern, roll around on the forest floor, just as long as there's no poison ivy, and just immerse yourself in life. Remember, our lifespan is infinitesimal when compared to nature time. This tree behind me is probably 6 times older than I am. So yeah, it's it's important and that we take care of our home. Until next time, y'all, peace and love. Thank you so much.